Well, here we go. Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV. Let's go fight Saint Shiva.
You should never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down. We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
Oh, so she became the primal. They're like the first boss of Snow Folk, but they're just ads. First it's all solid. Aww. Stepped down the Gunbreaker. I wish we had stepped on Clyde. This is where the Final Fantasy XIV step piece comes from. We're just gonna eat it. Eat it. Got the sword out. Get the toast, Shiva. Oh, but her... Interesting. Let's look around the arena for a second, though. Got these ice statues. It's like a coliseum. It is a coliseum. It's out in the open air. Looks like it's higher up than most of the mountains around it too. So she's still alive. But in pain.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool. You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. That no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause. You fight in a war you do not understand. A pawn of liars and schemers. And they are no less ignorant than you. Following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why. Trapped in a delusion of their own creation, and blind to the truth.
Does that not also describe you? She who would make a primal out of a real person?
Warrior of light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after. Seek the keeper of the lake. See with eyes unclouded. Do not squander Mother's gift. Hear, feel, think.
She can teleport at will? I mean, I guess we all can, but that was like some freaky teleporting. Complete with a snowstorm to block my sight. Oh, hey! Rub-a-dub-dub, Ascian in the tub.
And so the vessel withdraws, a predictable outcome. Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate. Wonder why he thinks it's unfortunate. Also strange to me that it would show us all the Ascians' names while they're partly obfuscated by darkness, but then not show them to us when they appear. By the 12, you're alive! I mean, of course you're alive, why wouldn't you be? Were you secretly here to kill me, Moonbreeda? Hey look, we get some pretty weapons. Check it out. It's another spear with like an aura. Actually, I like this spear for glamour. Might use it at some point. Might take that as the quest reward. We shall see. We're just asking us the symptoms, I guess, of people who at first lived through teleporting like that, but then later died, I guess. Oh. You don't suppose she's secretly working for the Ascians, do you? And that she did hope that that would have killed me. Nah, probably not. I mean, she gave Urianger a big ol' hug. Well, Alphinaud's not really my commanding officer. He's just a midget that I talk to sometimes. Well, he's not really a midget. He's the teenager I talk to sometimes. So I went through there, and then she turned into Shiva. Is that Haurchefant? I bet it was Haurchefant. What were you thinking, Clyde, wagering your very being on a dubious theory which might allow you to enter Iceheart's lair, knowing full well that she could have sufficient forewarning to complete her ritual to summon Shiva anyway, and then engaging the abomination in mortal combat? By the Fury, Clyde! 'Tis the stuff of ballads! A battle for the ages! Would that I had been there to fight by your side! Yet here I was, forced to wait, condemned to wonder what the fate of a dear friend for a veritable eternity! I would not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. But you are here now, and that is what truly matters. Let us move on. Sir Aymeric wished to have words with you and Master Alphinaud in private. He awaits us in the intercessory. Boat's cute boogie.
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Nautalon.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy.
You just love how mad Alphinaud gets when Emmerich's pretty much just like, yeah, settle down, 16-year-old, settle down.
You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now.
It's not like any of you actually witnessed it.
And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
It's also not like she actually did anything other than fight me.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We too have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Emmerich, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgard-Zoma could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's Toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Ooh. Getting spicy in here.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am now. Why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learned to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's Toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
It's okay, you're 16, whatever, man.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service.
Oh, finally they tell us her name.
Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences. Those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you. Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind.
Man, it's like juxtaposed against, how like Ulda and Rabana and Rioli or whatever, like how her being an outsider made her incredibly corruptible and, you know, likely to spy.
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
To be fair, Clyde doesn't really need to have faith. He just sort of goes wherever the wind blows. Listens to 16-year-olds. Tell them what to do. Sometimes even small children. Why? Ooh. So they bring the truth to bear. The fact that when we fought Gaius in Operation Archon, we only did so well because that was a single Imperial Legion. Womp womp womp. I wonder if any adventurer that ever gets drunk at this bar just accidentally stumbles into the Rising Stone. You gotta get like Ashtola to escort him out. Our stocks of wine have nearly run dry. That Charlian scholar is drinking us out of house and home. Holy shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 bottles? Hey, I just gotta say, you're pretty, you're alright. When British shows up, immediately demands that everyone gets drunk. Oh. I love her.
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Curthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it. Excellent. I shall summon the others at once.
Why didn't you just go ahead and summon them in the first place? Yeah, so like I went there and she like snapped her fingers and turned it into Shiva.
Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Master Louisoir's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogglmog the 12th was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not. But full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
About Iceheart's final words to you. Here,
Yeah, she got the echo.
Hydaelyn speaks to her as well. If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard-Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded, it would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so. Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard-Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
Dicks. Dicks, I say. They all have dicks. No, wait a minute. Iceheart doesn't have a dick. Whatever. That's probably why she's so frosty. Go see if aught is amiss, huh? Gotta speak with Alfie Bro again. Okay. See how long we go, see how long we can take this out. I know I said it would be a shorter episode today, but I can stretch it a little bit if I think I can actually get to the cutscenes that involve this. have gotten too hot. They went from cold to hot, just like a finger snap. Yeah, Palador, yeah! Faster, Horsebird, faster! Since battle time. Looks like she killed an immortal flame. Possibly injured Yu Yu Hase. Elbert's brought a shield this time. She's strapped up in Immortal Flame's hunting gear, but it looks almost Imperial. Gotta remember to hit blood before. Now when this instant came out, I think I remember actually having some problems with it. Miss. Oh, these guys must still be subject to accuracy or something. There's so many of them, it's kind of hard to target, too. Gosh, there's so many of them. I think if Ilbert dies or too many of the Braves die or something, you lose. I can distinctly remember a time I tried to just tunnel Eline the Razor, the Rioli or whatever, and I failed the duty or whatever. God, they just keep coming. Oh, Yuri showed up. Look at her over here using all this, like, crazy ninjutsu to do awesome shit. What a badass. Down she goes. Bind her and do it tight. Yes, sir. Good work, men. She and her Imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Behold, a respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, and one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of low? You're a spoiled little lordling who has never known any want. People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it your God's given right to rule over others. You know not of our plight, the injustice that we low-born guardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not but people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to do to survive, stealing, killing, even whoring myself. It is no fault of mine if fools imagined me a paragon when I joined the flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you were the only person to have ever have to suffer. In case you have forgotten, Reborn himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth, with little more than the shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion. Yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand we had been dealt, and played it to the best of our ability. Life was a battle, aye, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. How are we any different, then? 'Tis true that we were both mercenaries of lowly birth. 'Tis true that we both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my sword, you, Marshal, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, it is that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. Ooh. Remember this. Remember this for later. But enough talk. You will return to Ul'dah to face justice, and the people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. I joined the Crystal Braves that I might strike a blow against the Empire. Those who cast their lot with Garlemald should expect no better treatment. Friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Reborn chose his. Well, yeah, let's hope so. I don't have any intent of leveling Paladin on Clyde, but this shield right here, the Nocturnal Hoplon, is one of my favorite shields in the game, because it's got an aura, it's all wavery and like blue, and it's got a lion on it. It's really cool. If you're playing Paladin, I would get this at least for glamour.
I have heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Reborn. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace. Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
He's got eyes on the throne, and he's got... Doesn't like Lolorito. I thought they were... Well, I guess maybe none of the syndicates really in harmony at all. Let us cling together. Hey, that's an ogre battle title. Of course I'll go back and... I'll let her know that we beat the ever-living stuffing out of Aline the Razor. Who somehow, despite being of low birth in Ishgard, could handle a lance just as well, if not better, than most of their temple knights and dragoons. Still really interested in that ninjutsu that Yugiri was employing. She put paralysis on a Magitech armor. It was like an evil version of Doton or something, like Shadow Doton. Looks really fucking cool. I don't think Ninja... even at level 80, I don't think Ninja has anything like that. Of course, even if they did, you know, the paralysis wouldn't work on anything that players care about it working on, so, you know, balls. But could be worse, I suppose. No, you finally stopped juggling.
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alphino. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not what to say. Together with Reborn, Eileen lent us much-needed aid at the time of our Order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then.
Well, if she's a Garlean agent, under the orders of the previous Garlean Emperor, primals are to be purged from the land, so of course she would be all for that.
But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled.
Why didn't you go ahead and assemble them?
My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with white auricide, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Ascian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to auricite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite
or that
so,
you
my
can.
lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, what if we had two pieces of white auricite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
It would seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the aura site. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands.
No, you're not.
Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
Not taking no for an answer. She wants that Urianger, I tell you what. I tell you what.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Charlian Motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident of the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
Dimensional compression, huh?
All indications suggest Ascian involvement. But I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the One True God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
Oh, but the cutscenes, they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming.
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
Man, none of the voice actors can agree on how to say her name.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald. But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the media project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Vorissos Galvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
Seven hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Sounds like a triple agent, honestly.
Triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me. By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
All these years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monetarist scum! Your crimes will not go unpunished! Today I will purge this land of your sickness! Before the eyes of the 12, I swear it!
Glad that he's mad, but shouting at an empty room isn't really going to do much for him. Moogle plushie.
I shall have no further need of you this day. Your Grace.
Look at the Sultana eating cakes and having tea. Aww, what an effective ruler.
I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Oh, okay, at least she's having...
Ever since he proposed the Cartiner Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the Syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the Syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly.
If they're already your enemy...
Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
Oh, he's right, you dumb bitch. They are already your enemies. Dissolve the Syndicate.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped, but as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Uldar whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the Immortal Flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Uldar's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
Which is just another reason why the Syndicate should be dissolved.
Eorzea can ill afford for the Immortal Flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Uldar.
The true wealth of Uldar lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people. For Uldar to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
Nay, you jest.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos...
You're gonna give up being a
As the
Sultana?
last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Reborn to preserve order, and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For us...
That would be nice. I don't see what you giving up your power will do, though. So you do that without actually dissolving the Syndicate first.
There is no other way.
They'll just take over. Like,
when the time is right, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be.
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that, Thomas Jefferson. Shut the fuck up. This cutscene's going on way too long.
Reborn, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name.
How about you talk to Reborn about it?
I am powerless to...
Oh wow, even she thinks she's ineffectual now. Don't feel sorry for her though. Okay, so now that went on for like, oh, I don't know, 12 minutes longer than I thought it would. I'm going to call the video here before we get started on the next stuff that Minfilia has for us. I think we'll be moving into 2.5, and so we should be getting close to wrapping up A Realm Reborn. Although next time, I'm probably going to go and unlock the other extreme primals that I haven't unlocked, because there's still, you know, I still gotta do Titan, there's Ifrit, there's now Shiva and Ramu. I just gotta ask for some help through the Party Finder again. But I don't know, next time we'll start out with some story, and then we'll hop right into maybe the extremes. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.